full of sympathy before adding, "I can tell that he's hurting your feelings. I've wanted to beat the crap out of him myself, even though he's not saying that stuff to me." Stiffening her spine, Dana brushed a hand down her black apron and tossed her head defiantly. "It's about time I started fighting fire with fire. If he can come into my place of business and insult me every day, then maybe I need to level the same treatment at him." Zoe gave her a skeptical look before asking, "What exactly does that mean? You two already bicker when he's here. It's not as if you're just standing around taking it from him." "True," Dana agreed, nodding. "But he gets the last word in because he is free to walk out the door whenever he wants. Since I'm always in the middle of my shift, I can't exactly follow behind him." "You could signal me if I'm here so that I can take over for you," Zoe suggested helpfully. Dana thought to herself, not for the first time, that she'd hit the lottery in the boss department. Not many business owners would volunteer to cover for their employee so she could follow a customer out the door to continue an argument, especially when she was now related by marriage to the other person. Zoe rocked, as a friend and as a boss. Giving her first real smile of the day, Dana shook her head. "That's not necessary, but I absolutely love you for offering. No, what I had in mind was to give him a taste of his own medicine. He orders lunch and coffee from here almost daily, so from now on, I think I'll make that delivery myself instead of having one of the girls take care of it." Dana saw the exact moment that the light bulb went on above Zoe's head. Her friend's lips twitched before a loud giggle escaped. "That's rather brilliant, I have to admit. You're going to bring the battle to his doorstep. Crap, I'd love to be around to see that the first time. He won't be expecting it." "No, he won't." Dana offered an evil grin. "Of course, it'll only be a surprise once, but if I play my cards right, it'll make such a big impression that he'll think twice about opening his mouth to say anything to me other than a polite, 'How are you today?'" Cringing slightly, Zoe looked at Dana before saying, "I feel as if I should warn my husband out of loyalty. I mean, it is his office that you're declaring war on." When Dana narrowed her eyes at her friend, Zoe laughed and held up one hand. "All right, my lips are sealed. I'm sure Ash will tell him all about it after your first delivery anyway. Plus, Dylan's brother seriously needs to learn some manners." They did a fist bump before getting back to work. After that, the rest of the day passed by quickly as usual, and when Dana left for home that afternoon, it was one of the few times since Asher Jackson had arrived on the scene more than a year ago that she had pep in her step. She had a war to wage tomorrow, and she found that she was beyond excited to deliver some justice to Ash, along with his usual sandwich. Hell hath no fury like a woman called fat by a man. When Asher Jackson's stomach growled yet again, he glanced at his watch, wondering what was taking so long for his food delivery. Since Zoe's place was located in the same hotel, the service was usually very fast, but it had already been almost an hour, and he was starving. He'd had a clingy one-night stand the previous evening, and he'd been determined not to provide breakfast and mixed signals. When you cooked for a woman, they made a lot of assumptions. Usually he cleaned out the refrigerator before he went out on the prowl. He didn't even keep cereal in his cabinets. He'd made that mistake before and had a woman eat that stuff dry when he told her he was out of milk. Now he knew never to underestimate a woman looking to make what was supposed to be a brief sexual encounter into something more. Truthfully, he'd discouraged women from staying over, but it had been so late by the time they'd made it to his place and the deed was done that he'd just crashed instead of dealing with the awkward showing-her-the-door routine. Turned out he'd made a mistake by delaying that and giving them both a few hours of sleep. When he'd woken up, Betty, or whatever her name was, had been wandering around his apartment in one of his T-shirts while flipping through a family photo album. He'd had a creepy feeling that she was looking at his boyhood pictures and dreaming about what their future children would look like. She'd even motioned him over and quizzed him about his attractive female cousins featured in some of the pictures. He'd thought he was imagining the tension in her voice until he noticed her eye twitching. Danger. He'd been with his share of crazy chicks before, and he knew the signs, so he'd made up something about an early meeting and literally dressed her before pushing her out.